Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope you have been amazing. Welcome back to Confessions of an Evolving Millennial, where we talk about growing, we talk about evolving, we talk about healing, we talk about navigating life with all its twists and turns. And sometimes we're just plain out trying to figure it out. So we take it a day at a time, we take it a step at a time, we put one foot in front of the other as we continue with this adventure called life and just enjoying the journey as it comes. And if you're new here, my name is Nancy and Karibu Sana. Thank you so much for joining me. And on today's video, I want to talk about a very life-changing moment in my journey, particularly of walking away from abuse. I've written an amazing ebook. You can check it out in the description box, where I talk about practical steps of how you can take your power back before walking away from abuse. It's called Before Walking Away. And one of the reasons why I wrote that book is because I realized that there's a lot of people that are stuck, quote unquote, stuck in abusive relationships or in abusive marriages because there's a way that the brain is rewired when you are in such situations or when you stay in such situations for so long. And so the book actually gives practical steps on how you can strengthen your mind so that you can be able to see and actually walk away from that kind of situation. It's a book that I wrote with a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy for people who are in such situations or people who try to walk out of such situations, then they find themselves going back. And partly it's because they've not strengthened their minds enough to be able to realize that this is actually not good for them. And so they're going back to what is familiar. And so this ebook actually gives practical steps on how you can really strengthen your brain so that when you decide to walk away, you actually break free completely from that cycle, because there's a cycle of abuse that actually happens that contributes to keeping people stuck. I talked about it in one of the videos, whereby it creates a lot of confusion in the mind of the person that is being abused. And so this book is actually something that I believe is going to help a lot of people. It's a resource that I believe is going to help a lot of people come out of such situations just like I did. And I'm also offering one-on-one sessions for anyone who might be in such a situation they don't know where to start. You can still find that information in the description box. And if you know someone who's in that kind of a situation, you can gift them this book, or you can even gift a stranger. I've personally bought the book for 20 people and a friend of mine bought for 4 people. So I've been able to give away 24 books, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to give away even 100+ books. And so if you'd want to actually buy for a stranger, there's also a link that is in the description box that is going to guide you on how you can be able to do that. And I know that there are a lot of people that would be able to benefit from the resource. And today I actually want to talk about a life-changing moment that I mentioned in the book that actually helped me take my power back, because the book is also about making small choices that actually help you to ultimately make the decision to walk away from that kind of a situation. And I'll start by reading the snippet in my book where I actually mention the power of choice and how coming to the awareness that I was making a choice really empowered me to make a different choice for my life. Yeah. And so let's read that. Let's read that. So this is how it goes. The power of self-awareness in making the first move is extremely crucial. I remember getting to a place where I came to terms with the fact that unfortunately I made this choice. I kept choosing to stay with this person despite their words and actions not aligning. I know it will suck to come to terms with the reality that you chose this, whether it was from a place of naivety or traumatic experiences that conditioned you to believe that how they treated you was okay, or whatever reason there may be. I reminded myself that I chose this. No gun to my head, guys. No gun to my head. At first, it might feel really difficult to accept this truth, but on the flip side, it allows you to take your power back. It shifts something within you where you're finally able to see that if you chose this life, it means you can choose a different life. This is how you take back the power and control from your abuser. That's just a snippet of the book, and all throughout the book I offer practical ways that you can actually make small choices that will eventually enable you or strengthen you enough to be able to walk away from such a situation. And so let's dive into how choosing is actually a form of taking your power back. So one of the things that coming to the realization that you are actually choosing does is that it shifts you from being a victim to being a creator. It turns you from a passive character in your story to the author of your next chapter. And that's what happened to me, because I remember coming to the realization that, you know what, Nancy, you made the choice to actually get married to this person, despite seeing quite a number of red flags before that. You made a choice even when you had broken off. I had broken off the engagement twice before we got married. And so I made the choice, even though there was a lot of psychology behind it, when it comes to how my brain had been rewired because of the cycle of abuse, I still made the choice to actually get married to this person, despite feeling unsafe even before we got married, despite having moments of doubt even before we got married. And so coming to the realization, while now I'm already married, I'm right there in the middle of it, and you know, the world will try to create an illusion that you do not have a choice. You already agreed to get married. Now you cannot walk out of a marriage. You're a Christian, you are a pastor's wife, and yada, 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 all that noise. But I remember coming to the realization that, you know what, Nancy, you are choosing this. As you continue to stay in this relationship, you're choosing to have your life unfold the way it is unfolding. You're choosing the low self-esteem that is being inflicted on you. You are choosing feeling not enough because of how this person is treating you. You are choosing that, Nancy. And while it was very difficult to come to terms with that truth, it was very empowering, because from how I look at it is, okay, if I'm choosing this, then it means I can choose something different. And I think that's where for me the freedom began, is when I came to the realization that I'm choosing this, and so I can choose something different. That's number one. The second thing that choosing does, or how it empowers you, is that it helps you to break generational and emotional patterns that keep repeating themselves, whether it's in your life or even in your family. For me, that pattern almost repeated in my family, and there's a lot of emotional patterns that could have continued to repeat themselves in my life. Like when it comes to, I used to be a people pleaser. I used to care too much about what people would say. I had very weak boundaries. You know, I got to choose something that enabled me to break out of those patterns. And now I'm able to set boundaries and reinforce those boundaries. I'm able to say no and not feel guilty for saying no. I'm able to say this is not working out for me and not feel the need to really over-explain myself, although that one I'm still working on. I'm still working on the over-explaining, but I'm becoming better at it. And those are emotional cycles or emotional patterns that would have continued in my life if I did not make the decision and choice to say enough is enough. I deserve better. I deserve peace. I deserve joy in my life. I deserve abundance in every single way in my life. I deserve freedom. And that is where it began, from making a simple choice. And I talk more about the choices that you can make in the ebook, step by step. Very, very practical. I made sure that the book was very simple and not even like overbearing in any way. The third thing that coming to the awareness that you are constantly choosing does is that it actually reconnects you to your inner voice. Because now you come to the realization that you have to lean in to that inner voice, because this is you choosing for yourself. You're choosing for your own life. You're choosing for your own future. And a lot of us have spent life being told that we are too much, you know, we are too emotional, we are too ambitious, we are too this, we are too that. And so what realizing that I have a choice did is that it forced me, or rather it pushed me to reconnect with my inner voice, to listen in to my intuition and choosing for yourself, even if others do not understand. Because I remember making some decisions that I knew for a fact that people will not understand, and I was comfortable with that. What that does is that it acts as a way of reclaiming your intuition, reclaiming your power in that way, trusting yourself, learning to trust yourself again. And that trust actually becomes your compass. That trust is your power. The other thing that coming to the realization that you are constantly choosing does is that it creates alignment over performance, because a lot of us, especially if you've probably grown up as a people pleaser, you are very used to performing, for doing things for the sake of other people. Oh, what do other people think and whatnot? But when you come to the realization that you are choosing your own life based on your values, your desires, what it is that you want out of life, it actually comes with a lot of alignment, where you're not even trying to compare yourself with other people. You're choosing based on what you want as an individual, what uniquely fits in your life, and that is alignment. And so choosing helps you to align yourself to the life that is yours, and not someone else's life, or not a life that you're trying to create based off of someone else's life. It's purely what you want as an individual uniquely, and what you want for your journey. The other thing that choosing does, and what it did for me, is that it helped me to learn how to set boundaries and actually reinforce those boundaries. So every time you choose to say no, for instance, to chaos, to being taken for granted, to self-abandonment, you're actually choosing respect, you're choosing peace, you're choosing love, And so for me, I actually remember when, after I had made the decision to walk away, I decided to go no contact. And so my ex-husband did not know where I was. I was being hosted by a very dear friend of mine called Charlie, and he didn't know where I was staying, and I was not entertaining the idea of meeting up with him, because also I had come to the awareness of how that cycle of abuse works. And so it would have been easy, like me meeting him and then me being confused again. And so I maintained no contact, and I sticked to that boundary. And I was very clear. And actually to this date, and it's been 5 years since I ran away, I've actually seen my ex-husband once, and it was because I accepted that time. There was a lot of times where there was a lot of threats that were being thrown around about me having to meet up with him, and I would say no and not feel bad about it. At the time, I would have explained myself because I was still healing, I was still navigating. Now I've become better at saying no and not having to explain myself. But then I would say no and stick to my no. And the time that I was ready to meet up with him is when I said, okay, let's meet up with our best couple. And I knew my agenda at the time was for me to communicate that this is 100% not what I want for my life, and I have already made my decision, and my mind is very set and clear on this. And then I remember after that, I asked God, please God, I don't want to ever meet with this person. And right now I'm at a place where I don't have any resentment towards him. I have actually a lot of love for him as a human being, not for the actions. The actions were not good, and the actions were very, very bad. But for him as a person, I have a lot of love for him. I can be able to say that now. Then I could not be able to say that. But I made that request to God. I was like, please, I don't want to ever meet with this person. And I've actually never met them, ever. Thank you, God. Indeed, God answers prayers. He does. And so for me, choosing actually really helped me to become better at setting boundaries and being able to reinforce those boundaries. Setting boundaries was also about honoring my energy, honoring my light, getting to a place where I'm like, I'm not going to allow anyone to dim my light because of their own issues that they need to work through. I'm not going to allow myself to betray myself any longer. I'm not going to allow myself to be manipulated or to be controlled. And I had to put a lot of boundaries and actually reinforce them. And that comes from a place of knowing that you have a choice. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that knowing that you have a choice is very empowering. It actually empowers you. It doesn't make you it doesn't put blame on you, really. It actually empowers you to know that you can decide. And one of the things that abusers do is that they make you think that you don't have a choice. They make you think that you don't have a say in this. It's like they are, quote unquote, the god of your life, and you are not an individual who can actually make decisions for yourself. I remember certain funny situations. Now they are funny, but I remember threats that I was being given as if I don't have a choice as a human being, But I had gotten to a point where I knew that I had a choice, because I had really strengthened my mind enough to know that I do not want to be manipulated any longer. And I knew how to stand my ground. The other thing that coming to the awareness that you have a choice does is that it helps you to come out of that mentality of you are stuck. I feel like society in general, or our world in general, has created an illusion of that you don't have a choice. There are a lot of things that you'll hear people saying, I'm stuck in this job because it's like they really believe they don't have a choice. Or someone who's staying stuck in a bad relationship because they feel like they don't have a choice and whatnot. But realizing that you have a choice will get you out of so many situations that make you feel stuck, because you know that there are options. And I feel like one of the first step is actually realizing that there are options. There's so much abundance in this world in all manner of ways. And circumstances try to deceive us that there are no choices, there are no more options. But when you open up your mind to realizing that there's so much abundance in this world, there are so many good people. Guys, I tell you, there are so many good people. There's no point of tolerating someone who's so mean to you and someone who treats you like they hate you, while there are actually people out there who are so willing to shower you with love and kindness and gentleness. Even when it comes to opportunities, don't let a job kind of condition you to believe that this is it, like there are no other options. There are so many options. There are so many opportunities out there. And realizing that you have a choice really opens up your eyes to seeing how many options there are there, like how much abundance there is in the world. And I want to wind up this video by saying that every choice that we are making every day is like our vote to our future self. And it starts with small choices. It starts with choosing how you speak to yourself, choosing to be grateful, choosing to love yourself, choosing to be kind to others, choosing to be kind to yourself, choosing to be gracious to yourself. It starts with very small, tiny choices, but those choices end up creating the reality that we get to live in. I kid you not when I say that that is one of the most empowering things that I have come to realize, that I have a choice, that every morning when I wake up, I have a choice of either comparing myself with other people or being grateful for who I am and who I am becoming. Either wallowing in complaints or choosing to be grateful for the life that I have, for what I actually have. And it has been so life-changing. It has been a game changer. And actually, there's a book I'm reading with my book club, and the writer talks about how even when it comes to your reality, the life that you get to live, it's a matter of choice. And he actually says it's like going to the supermarket, the way you pick something, you choose Aqua Mist or you choose Dasani. It's literally like that even when it comes to the life that we are living. And I know sometimes when you're stuck in an abusive situation or a toxic environment, you might feel like you don't have a choice, but really you do have a choice. But I believe that it starts from a place of empowering your mind enough to be able to see that you have those options, to be able to see that you have a choice. And so I really hope this video spoke to someone, and I really hope that we can continue to make choices that we will be very proud of in the future, in the near future, in the far future. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.